There's a story in the Bible that is read quite often.
Although it's read over and over, it's easy to miss its significance. It's the story of Simon the Cyrenian, the man chosen by a Roman soldier to help Jesus carry the cross up to Calvary.
The old folk in the church used to be heard shouting out,
"Must Jesus bear the cross alone?" Simon can answer that age-old question better than anyone. There is very little in the Bible about Simon the Cyrenian. So little is known about the man that his name could have even been left out. But in Matthew chapter 27 verse 32, we are introduced. As they were going out, they met a man from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross. And again in Luke chapter 23 verse 26, as the soldiers led him away, they seized Simon from Cyrene, who was on his way in from the country, and put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus.
I imagine when God saw Simon on the other side of eternity, he saw a wretched, dirty, and unworthy man.
God probably looked at him, being the judge he is, and spoke in his awesomeness and in his power, saying, "I love Simon so much."
But he's not going to make it. As God begins to hand down the eternal verdict to Simon, Jesus stood saying, "Wait, Father."
Do you remember when I was headed on the way to Golgotha? Do you remember where my very own chosen people cried out, "Crucify him"? Do you remember when Pontius Pilate and Herod lacked the backbone enough to turn down the demands of the crowd? Do you remember when I was whipped, spat on, cursed out, mocked with the crown of thorns, stripped of my robe that was lost in the game of lots beneath the cross?
Do you remember when I was stabbed in my side and my water intake flowed with my blood from my own body down the old rugged cross? Because he bore the sins of the whole world before and after that day.
I can see God stand looking at Jesus at his righteous right hand and saying, "My son,
My only begotten son, I remember." Jesus responding, "Father, then surely you can remember Simon, the one who helped your son carry the cross so he didn't have to bear it alone."
We should be excited to take up our crosses and to die to ourselves daily. So when we have to stand before the judge on the side of eternity, Jesus stands for us as he stood for Simon and says, "Father, remember him who helped me so the Son of God didn't have to bear the cross alone."
It's time to pick up your cross and walk out into the spiritual war zone called the world with boldness and excitement, because you've been chosen to help Jesus carry his cross. God bless you.